scientific notation problem together. So I copied the problem right from your test. 2 times 10 to the 8th over 8 times 10 to the 3rd. They ask you first to simplify the fraction. So in order to do that, they took 2 over 8 times 10 to the 8th over 10 to the 3rd. They want you to simplify 2 eighths, and the way to do that is to use your calculator and divide 2 divided by 8. And when you do 2 divided by 8 on your calculator, you should get 0.25. And it even says you have to have an integer or a decimal. It cannot be a fraction. Then I came down a little bit farther here. Here is my problem. I took 0.25 times 10 over 8. 10 to the 8th over 10 to the 3rd. And I subtract these integers. Because the base is 10 in both of them, I'm going to subtract 3 from 8 and I get 5. So here's my problem. 0.25 times 10 to the 5th. Next they say it's not in scientific notation. Since 0.25 is not between 1 and 10, in order to write an equation in scientific notation, it needs to be between 1 and 10. And 0.25 is a decimal. It's smaller than 1. So you have to write 0.25 in scientific notation. In order to do that, I have to move this decimal one time from in front of the 2 to behind the 2. And in order to do that, I'm moving from the left to the right, so it's going to be a negative 1. This is what it looks like now. This 10 to the 5th stays exactly the same, and see how it ended up here on the end. I think that's the part that was tricking you. So I'm moving this decimal point from in front of the 2 to behind the 2, and when I do that, I have to write it in scientific notation. So I've moved the decimal point one time, but I've moved it to the right instead of the left, and therefore it's a negative 1. This looks like it's red and it's wrong, but it's not, it's correct. I just used an x instead of times. Now they want you to use the product rule of exponents to get the answer, which basically they want you to, because this base is the same, because 10 is in both of these numbers, they want you to subtract 5 from 1. I'm using the negative 1 and the 5. It makes me get 10 to the 4th power. So here is the answer in scientific notation, 2.5 times 10 to the 4th. Now that was part of the problem. The second part of the problem is they wanted you to actually solve it. How would you move that decimal? And they give us a hint. Recall that multiplying a number by a positive power of 10 makes the number bigger, greater, larger. Multiplying by a negative number, a negative power of 10 will make the number less. The exponent tells the number of places in the direction the decimal point is moved. So I know that this is a positive integer, so my number 2.5 must get bigger. I also know that I'm going to move that decimal 4 times. So if I had the ability, I would move it 1, and then I would move it 3 more times. 2, 3, 4. I'm going to move it 4 places to the right. My answer then would be, I don't think I can add it in there. My answer would be 25,000.